Somewhere right now, a guy with 3 monitors and a Bloomberg terminal is about to lose to a chimpanzee. I'm not joking. This actually happened. A chimp named Raven threw darts at a piece of paper, picked 10 stocks at random, and beat over 6,000 professionals' money manager. Her return that year was 213%. And before you think, okay, it's a lucky monkey, one time fluke, it wasn't just her. There was a cat that threw a toy mouse on a grid of numbers and beat a team of actual wealth managers. So, here is the question that's going to break your brain for the next 10 minutes. If professionals with decades of training, insider access, and PhD in finance lose to a house pet, what exactly are you paying them for? Stick around, because the answer is going to change how you think about money for the rest of your life. Here's what almost everyone thinks investing is. You find a good company, you read the news, you watch some guy on TV point at charts and say,
Tesla is off to the moon.
so you feel smart, you buy, and you wait to get rich. That's the story we have all been sold. In movies, in Wolf of Wall Street energy, in every finance influencer's thumbnail with a Lambo in the background. Investing equals predicting.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
The smarter you are, the better you predict, the more you win. It feels true. It feels like common sense. Well, it's almost completely wrong. And I'm not saying that to be edgy. I'm saying it because the data on this is so overwhelming, so repeated across so many decades that at this point, disagreeing with it is like disagreeing with gravity. Let's start with the professionals, the actual expert, the people whose entire job, their one job, is to pick stocks that beat the market. There is a report called Spiva Scorecard, S&P, the same company behind S&P 500, tracks how many professional fund managers actually beat a simple, boring index fund over time. Here's the number that should stop you in your seat. Over 15 years period, there was not a single category of US stock funds, not one, out of 22 different categories, where the majority of professional managers beat the market. Read this again, 0 out of 22. These are people with Bloomberg terminals, teams of analysts, and phone calls with company CEOs, and most of them still can't beat a single fund that does nothing. But here is where it gets darker. That static is actually too generous to the professionals. When fund manager does badly for long enough, you know what happens? The fund doesn't just underperform, it quietly disappears. It gets shut down or merged into another fund with a shinier name. And when that happens, its ugly track record disappears from history books too, like it never existed. According to research, nearly 64% of domestic stock funds, that's almost 2 out of every 3, got shut down or folded into something else. Not because they were thriving, because they were quietly failing. And someone hit delete before you even see the wreckage. Morningstar found something just as wild. Of all the funds that existed back in 2004, 40% of them didn't even survive the next 10 years. So when someone shows you fund performance data and says, look how good active management is, you are only looking at the survivors. Trust me, you are not seeing the graveyard. It's like judging how safe a war zone is just by interviewing the soldiers who made it home. This is called survivorship bias, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. In investing, in business advice, in literally every "here's how I got rich" story you have ever heard online. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about the legends? What about Warren Buffett? Surely the greatest investor alive can beat a boring index fund, right? Well, Buffett himself didn't just believe he couldn't reliably do it better than average. He puts $1 million on the line to prove the entire hedge fund industry couldn't either. In 2008, Buffett made a public bet. He said a plain, boring S&P 500 index would beat a hand-picked selection of hedge funds over the next 10 years. Funds run by the smartest, highest paid people on the planet. More like in finance. The final score. The boring index fund returned about 125%. The best hedge fund picks in the bet 360%. Buffett didn't just win, he didn't even sweat. The most famous investor in human history publicly proved that trying to be smart loses to just owning the whole market and waiting. So here's the obvious question. Why? Why can't skill win? Are all these professionals secretly just bad at their job? No. And this is the part that connects to something that we talked about in the previous video. So if you haven't seen that one about the yard sale wealth model, go check it out after this, because this next idea is the investing version of the exact same trick your brain plays on you. In that video, we showed that wealth inequality doesn't actually require anyone to be corrupted or evil. Fairness repeated over time still produces widely unequal outcomes. The market works on the exact same twisted logic, just flipped inside out. You would think more smart people in the system means more accurate prediction, right? Wrong. When thousands of brilliant people are all competing to find the same advantage, that advantage gets cancelled out immediately. The second real information appears, a company about to have a great quarter, a new product is going to be huge. Thousands of analysis, algorithms, and traders react to it within seconds. The price adjusts before you can even finish reading the headline. There is no getting there first. Everyone with money and brain is already racing for the exact same door. So, the market is not unpredictable because it's dumb. The market is unpredictable because it's smart. Your competition isn't one guy in a garage. It's every genius on earth with a Bloomberg terminal, all fighting for the same tiny edge, and all cancelling each other out. That's the twist. Skill doesn't disappear because people are bad at investing. Skill disappears because everyone, and I mean it, everyone is trying to use it at the same time on the same information. And in case you are thinking, okay, but surely the funds that win one year keep winning, right? Researchers have tracked funds that were top performance in a given year, then checked how many stayed on top for a few years later. For large funds, the number that repeated their success was actually worse than what you would expect from a pure random chance. Let this sink in. Winning once doesn't even predict winning again, so it's not a skill you can back on. It's closer to a lightning strike. So if the smartest people on the planet can't reliably win this game, what are you supposed to do? Here's the frame that changes everything, and it's the whole point of this video. Stop trying to win the game, start owning the whole game instead. Instead of trying to guess which single company will be the next Amazon, which is basically trying to outthink every genius on the planet at once, you buy a small slice of the entire market, every big company, all at once, for close to nothing in fees. That's what a simple index fund actually is. You are not betting on being smarter than Wall Street. You are betting that human innovation, on average, keeps moving forward over decades, which historically, it always has. You stop trying to be the chimp who got lucky one year. You just become the entire dartboard. The single biggest reason regular people underperform even a boring index fund isn't bad stock picks, it's panic. Studies on real investor behavior, not fund performance, but what actual people do with their own money. Individual investors constantly earn less than the very funds they are invested in, because they sell when it drops and buy back in once it's already gone back up. The market isn't beating you, you are beating yourself. So the whole trying to win mindset, trying to time it, trying to predict it, trying to outsmart it, isn't just statistically unlikely to work. It's the exact behavior that historically makes people lose the most. So here's the twist to end all twists. The goal was never to win. The goal was to stop playing a game that was rigged against everyone equally, professionals included, and instead, just quietly, earn a piece of the whole thing. No chimp, no dartboard, no Bloomberg terminal, just time, patience, and getting out of your own way. If your brain just got a little bit rewired, smash that subscribe button. I would appreciate any comments you would write on this video, even if they were bad. I would be happy to read anything you write. I am enjoying what I'm doing, I hope you're enjoying too. And I have a very nice ideas for this channel. So I hope you like what I do. See you in the next video. Peace.